As you know, I'm from Nigeria, and we are three from Nigeria. My name is Engineer Maka Uyanne. Okay, these are the outlines of our presentation. We have to start with a brief description of Nigeria, but I'm sure most of us that are here, except for the Koreans, have an idea of Nigeria. So that's the map of Africa. You can see Nigeria highlighted there in red. And then that's Nigeria with our 36 states and the federal capital. Okay, that's a description of Nigeria. Our population is 182 million, as against 2 million and 12 million we have seen already. When we talk about women in engineering, we want to start with the background of our challenges. Like we have all mentioned, truly, women in Nigeria, we have so much challenges, just like most of women in other African countries. Formal education came into Nigeria with the British colonizing Nigeria. But even then, when it came, they tried to encourage women to go to school. But the irony is that families would rather prefer women to be trained properly to get married. And unfortunately, women get married so early. And because they do, they were not actually supposed to be part of education. That's the background of our own challenges. So often, if you manage to get into school, it's terminated before you even get to primary 6, because you have to get married. So that's the background of our own. You find out that those who manage to eventually get into secondary school become a little number, because many have gotten out of the way to get married. And so, from onset, it's not like now, it's ever since. Women are very few in tertiary institutions. And because they are few, we can imagine now, fewer will be in engineering. So that's the background. Some of us that came work with the Federal Ministry of Aviation. The two seated there are with Federal Ministry of Aviation, while I am with Federal Capital Development Authority. For those that work with aviation, those are the projects ongoing. Even this project is actually being done by the Chinese company. Then I work with Federal Capital Development Authority. Federal Capital Development Authority is mandated, it's created in 1976, and it's mandated to build the capital city of Nigeria. Our capital city used to be in Lagos, but in 1976, it's moved to Abuja. And then we are mandated to build a capital city that will look like what we are seeing in Seoul, a city that can be compared to any other capital city in the world. That's supposed to be our mandate. And to do this, you need engineers. So we have the concept, planning and design, development, procurement, and so on as our mandate. These are just the statutory responsibility and these are part of my job as an engineer, because I'm the project unit head back in my country. Capacity development for women construction engineers in Africa. Now, the first point, the status and statistics on female students in engineering in Nigeria. The basic problem we have is that of data collection in Nigeria. I don't know if it's because we are many or because people that are supposed to work under the Federal Ministry of Statistics don't keep their job. It is difficult, really, to get the correct statistics of most of anything you want. So when we try finding out, it was just if you get to the National Bureau of Statistics that you get figures that look like, because sometimes they are outdated, they are not current. That is the point. So from National Bureau of Statistics, women make up an average of just 22% of total number of engineering and technology university graduates every year. 22%. But this is as at 2004. Then in 2015, those awarded bachelors was 19.9%. They are made up of 21% of undergraduates. Master's degree, 25.2%, and doctorate, 23.1%. That means we are improving every year. This is the statistics of female engineering students at Ahmadu Bello University at a different level. You have 44 of them in first year. By the time they are graduating, you have 43. Then you have this from Yola, first year 5, and then 25 at the end. Then you have this from Maiduguri. Then you have this from Kano. Then you have this from Minna. All these are schools in Nigeria. Quite unlike some African countries, almost all the universities in Nigeria study engineering. Okay, now we want to talk about the institutions to raise and promote girls, the institutions we have in Nigeria. Like we said, there is no known policy in Nigeria. In fact, I was so shocked to see that almost all the other African countries have policy that encourage women in a special way, either in engineering or education or any form of upliftment. We don't have that in Nigeria. They leave us to struggle side by side with the men counterparts. And we can never be able to outdo them because they are more in number in every level. We have the elaborate body that covers all the big umbrella that covers all the aspect of engineering, Nigerian Society of Engineers. Since inception, we have never had a female president. We also have Council for Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN. We have this one specifically for women, Association of Professional Women Engineers in Nigeria. Then we have non-governmental organizations and individuals, participation of government, National Council for Women's Society. We have all these institutions trying to, one way or the other, encourage women. This is the current status and statistics on female engineers. This has to, is dated back 2008 from Nigerian Society of Engineers. From here, you can see that, for instance, 2004, you have 980 males, only 63 females, with a total of 1,043. Now, you have 2008, out of 20,908 registered members of Nigerian Society of Engineers, you have 3,259 as female. Then when it comes to the ratio of women in the labor force, we are saying here 1:10, mostly in construction industry, but I can tell you it's less than that. It's less than 1:10. The reason is this. In my office particularly, we are 46 staff, engineers, and this 46, it's only 6 of us that are female. That's my own office. I mean my division. But if you come to the Department of Engineering, we are over 5,000 engineers, but we are not up to 30 female engineers in all. So this, wherever they get it from, I don't know, but I know it's less than this 1:10. Then for the registered from Korean, you can see that we have 50,560 registered engineers, only 3,000 female. Ratio 1:17. You see what we are saying? There is no established data as at the time of this report. We have all these challenges in construction industries, but we are concerned with challenges we face as female engineers in Nigeria. Okay, so the challenges we face as female engineers in Nigeria. Number one, politics of men claiming headship of family, like some other people have already explained. Our culture, our religion, at the same time, both Christian and Muslim religion, place the women under men. The Christian religion made us to understand that we have to be submissive unto our men. And so whatever they say, we do. You don't challenge their words. And then even if you make more money than the man, the money belongs to the man. Because he is the head of the family. Now, you can go to school. It is the truth. You can go to school and graduate and become an engineer. For instance, I got married in my second year in the university. My husband can decide after my graduation that I will not work and I will sit at home, even with my certificates, because he is the head of the family. And when you complain and try to object, your family, your own family, we ask you to do exactly what your husband wants. You see, we are incapacitated. And so you can never find as many women wanting to go into engineering as they would have loved to. So it's one of the challenges. They claim headship of the family. Then lack of motivation and stagnation. Lack of motivation comes from different angles. From the society, from even your teachers. I remember sometime when in physics class, the teacher will always tell me, where do you hope to go with this? Even if you make all the grades, where are you taking it to? What do you hope to do with it? Then your family, they are part of it. You want to go and start rubbing shoulders with men? Yes. You're being discouraged in that angle. Even the society does not help matters, because you're not expected to dress like men. You should be dressing typically like a woman. And then you discover that even in the profession, actually, it turns you into a man, whether you like it or not. Because when I went into the site, I discovered that there are certain dresses that does not fit into the site. Okay, you can't climb stairs and so on, dressing just like a woman. You have to really dress properly for site. So these are part of the things. And then, unfortunately, after studies, like some people said, they have a program. When you finish your studies, you're lucky, you get a job. We don't. It's a personal thing. After graduation, you have to look for the job yourself. And sometimes somebody said 8 months, 11 months, and we were there. We were like, wow, that's great. In our own country, sometimes 10 years, you have not found the job. It's not like the job is not there. But this same politics we are talking about, because people would rather want to place their family members on any vacancy. So you're left out, whether engineering or any other course. And so you're left out. Even if you have construction sites, it's only when you want to really come down much, much below your level that you'll be offered a job. So that is part of the problem. Lack of motivation. Then stagnation. That is even the worst. You manage to get the job. You are in the same office with your male counterparts. You see your male counterparts rising, being promoted. You're not promoted. You'll be stagnated in one position for years. Sometimes 10 years, 12 years, you have not been promoted. So what's the essence of really going to suffer in school to read engineering and then you come back to the field and then you're being stagnated. So these are part of the things. And when the young ones see it, they feel it. And so it's better for them to get into any other field. Then, like I said, traditional and religious beliefs against women. I have highlighted that one when I said that according to our tradition and religion, women are not expected to do what men do. For them, engineering is basically property of men. I mean, women should not even venture into that. For them, you should go into something like education, go into nursing, go into any other thing, housekeeping, but not engineering. Then, usually we are regarded as weaker sex and should not do what men do. Then victimization and intimidation. Victimization, you receive this from your office, you receive from your colleagues, you receive from all angles. Intimidation, we listened to a lecture yesterday when the female was saying that sometimes she's being harassed at the site, the construction site. It's the same thing in Nigeria. As the head of construction units, like I am, sometimes the men feel intimidated by your presence, and they want to show you that they are men. As soon as you're coming close to where they are casting, they change the nozzle towards you. They do it to me many times. So I'm used to dressing, if you like, put on helmet and so on and so forth. What they want to do simply is to show you that you are not supposed to be there. And so they scare you with turning the nozzle and spraying concrete and so on you purposely, and at the same time telling you sorry. These are the things we go through. And then by the time you go to work and then you come back looking very dirty, people will be telling you, you see, you were told not to go into engineering, you see how you look and stuff like that. So these are our challenges. Now, the support program we have, basically, there is no support program from government. Not at all. None. No support program from men. Nigerian Society of Engineers, they don't care. For them, the lesser the number of women, the better for them. Because they don't want the key positions to be handled by any woman. And it has never happened. But you'll be surprised to know that we have been in existence since 1982. This APWEN, Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria. And with all our struggles, no woman has been president of the Korean or Nigerian Society of Engineers. But we have our programs. We try our best as women to have programs that will benefit women. So in APWEN, we have STEM program. I think it has a little bit to do with what somebody already presented here. We try to encourage people to read science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And then we have a program we call Catch Them Young. Yes. The female engineers, we organize once a year, share ourselves. We have branches all over Nigeria. So what we do, like Abuja program, we'll pick a particular school, go to that school, and then organize some sort of workshop and seminar, encouraging them to read engineering. We tell our stories, but we don't tell our challenges. We just tell them the good aspect of being a female engineer, but we never tell them our challenges so that we don't scare them. And then they see you as role model, and then they want to read engineering. That's Catch Them Young. Then role modeling is also part of it. Then this one, when I studied in the US and came back, I tried to also do a program, just giving it a test to see how it works. So we picked a school, and then in that school, we organized in such a way that their free period, we take girls from that school to our offices. So we share it. A particular girl will come with me to work. I'll take the girl to the construction site, and then she will experience, just watch me do my job. And then from there, you take the girl to the workroom where the designs are being placed, talk to her, tell her why those things are there. In fact, we saw that it works faster. They admire you a lot. Oh, look at how Auntie is just drawing. You mean this is just, you put it in paper before you know it, is this house standing? And things like that. It was very encouraging. So when we did it and we saw it works, we incorporated it into our program. That's our Association of Professional Women Engineers. We are the only ones doing all we can to encourage ourselves. Government is not encouraging us. The men counterparts, they are not encouraging us. Though we are more in number now, because we used to be fewer. Now in Nigeria, we have over 3,000 female engineers. We are more than that, but those that have the encouragement to register properly are just about 3,000. Invent it, build it. This is another program Upwen does. If you watch, you will see some students holding something. It's organized for primary school pupils between the ages of 8 and 10 years. It was set up to motivate the girl child to take up sciences and eventually study any of the engineering courses in Nigeria. For instance, we could incorporate their science teachers in this, and then you're asked to a kind of model, maybe a machine, a bicycle, but then you'll be provided with the parts, and then you'll be allowed to assemble it yourself. It makes them so happy, because what we do is to break it into parts. We break it into parts, and then we allow you to reassemble what you saw us breaking back into what it is, and then give prizes for who did what. So that is it. All right, so in conclusion, we have tried to generate data on statistics of female engineers and female students in engineering in few universities in Nigeria, in order just to reveal the statistics of female engineers. The total number of registered engineers in Nigeria, according to Corinne, is 5,566, and women are just 3,000. And in the labor force, we see women to men 1 to 17. Thank you, and thank you very much.